It's your under degree. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright. Set the stage, Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea.
Y'all know we gotta run it back. Y'all know we gotta run it back. Let's go. Get in here, y'all.
It's your under degree. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright. Set the stage, Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea.
Let's go, Diamond Gang. What's good, Diamond Gang? I am back. I was supposed to go. Hey, what's up, Marie? I was supposed to go live yesterday, but yeah, there was really nothing going on. Trump gave him 48 hours and then gave him an extension of 5 days. Trump said he's having talks with them. They're saying that he's not. Y'all starting already in the chat. Y'all starting already. Well, I got a few updates. Let's see what's going on. Plus, not only that, he claims Iran gave him a big present. I wonder what that present is. Hopefully we'll find out soon what it is. Yeah, double tap the screen, hit the like. Hit the like. Shouts out to all my subscribers. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. This is a space where you can all opinions will be respected. Yeah, more lies. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add my screen to the stage. Yeah, they say he's not telling the truth, Diamond Gang. We're gonna see what it do. All right, let's get it.
So, has Trump actually been talking to Iran or not? On Monday, President Donald Trump said the US would pause planned military strikes in Iran, claiming there had been productive negotiations with Tehran. Iranian state-linked media immediately denied that any talks were taking place.
Now listen, do I believe Trump is talking to someone? Yes, I do. I just don't believe it's the circle that he's supposed to be talking to. Let's go.
Mixed messages came after Trump issued a 48-hour ultimatum warning Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face strikes on its energy infrastructure. Iran responded by threatening to target essential infrastructure across the Middle East if the US followed through. Despite Trump's claims of progress, Iran's Fars news agency says there have been no direct talks with Washington and no negotiations through intermediaries. Some reports suggest Iranian parliamentary leaders may be involved in contacts with the US, but Tehran has not.
So they believe that it's Parliament that's in touch with him. But I told y'all Witkoff was behind the scenes talking to them on WhatsApp apps. I told y'all that the other day, Sunday.
Confirmed this. As of Tuesday, the Strait of Hormuz is still not fully reopened, although some ships from countries considered friendly to Iran are reportedly being allowed through. Trump has also floated more controversial ideas, including the US sharing control of the strait, and he claimed major points of agreement with Iran's leadership. But Reuters, citing...
Meanwhile, he's talking about running the Straits of Hormuz with them. Like, just let them run their stuff, man.
A European official says there have been no direct negotiations with Gulf states, acting as intermediaries instead. As markets react to the uncertainty, financial analyst Susanna Streeter told Newsweek that both sides in this conflict are proving to be unreliable narrators.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what Israel is thinking, because I'm telling y'all, Israel said they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And later on in this video, I'm going to show you proof where in the past, Israel has baited people and lied to people to get them involved in conflict and war. So please hit the like. Please hit the like. Let's go. We're going to start with Iran first.
Yes, we are in favor of a deal, but a fair and balanced deal. The problem is when Americans, the current administration, talk about a deal, in fact, they want to dictate what they want. And
that part, and Trump is trying to dictate everything.
This is what we experienced. As recently as 2 months ago in New York, we are ready for negotiation, but not for dictation. We are ready to go for a deal, but for a fair and balanced deal, not a one-sided.
You know, I don't like to say this. We've won this.
Now we're going to listen to what Trump has to say.
This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like.
So Trump is blaming it on the fake news, the media. He said, we are the ones that keep it going. Meanwhile, that's baloney. He's full of it when it comes to that. We can't tell anybody what to do. We can't send troops anywhere. Like, come on, let's go.
We're not winning a war where they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tehran and other parts of their country. They can't do a thing about it.
Now we're getting ready to get into Israel. I don't care what nobody say. They're the reason why it escalated. And they said they're going to keep on striking Iran, regardless of what Trump says or decide to do. Let's go.
Anyone needed an explanation of why Iran is the enemy of civilization and the enemy and the danger to the entire world. You got it in the last 48 hours. In the last 48 hours, they fired a terror weapon on civilians, on children. There's a children's nursery here. There's an old person's.
Let me stop right real quick. You said what ideology? I'm just here to shed light on what's going on and for the truth. But for some reason, our president don't know how to tell the truth. So I can't go by his ideology. Okay? Because he's a liar. Okay? He's a liar. I got to sift through and make sense of some of the things that he's saying right now. Does that answer your question? All right, let's go.
Home here. Civilians, families, they fire terror weapons on civilians. And often they use cluster bombs, which are forbidden by international law. The second thing that they did is that they fired on Jerusalem right next to.
You agree? Thank you.
To the holy places. They sent ballistic missiles that could have destroyed the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Western Wall. The three holiest sites to the three monotheistic religions, they don't care. They're firing on everyone. The third thing they did is they fired in intercontinental ballistic missiles, 4,000 kilometers.
But believe me, Israel don't want out right now. They want, like I said, Sunday. We're looking at it at two different point of views. Okay. Israel, they don't want to stop. They don't.
Kilometers right into Diego Garcia, the American-British base. They can reach now with these ballistic missiles everywhere in Europe, almost everywhere in Europe. I've been warning that for years. The fourth thing that they did is that they shut down the important maritime strait of Hormuz, trying to blackmail the world with.
It's not even blackmail, but they knew that they had leverage when they did it. I don't think that they were trying to blackmail anyone.
Oil terror blackmail. Four things that they're doing in 48 hours. And I ask the leaders of the world, the leaders of the free world, the leaders of the moderate states, what more are you waiting for?
He still wants help. Everybody said no.
President Trump has correctly said that Israel, the United States and Israel in this great partnership, we're fighting the battle not only for ourselves, but for all of you. And he asked a simple question, where are you? And it's time to heed President Trump's call, his leadership, and his vision, not merely for our sake, but for your sake.
Now, I'm going to read this to you because it's in his language. He said he's going to continue to strike. He said, earlier today, I spoke with our friend, President Trump. This was yesterday. President Trump believes there is a chance to leverage the achievements. Great of the IDF and the United States military in order to realize. The war goal agreements. An agreement that will protect our vital interests. Even with a ceasefire, we will continue to attack. Again, even with a ceasefire, we will continue to attack. So that's where they are with this. They still want to go on and on and on. That's just like we went back and forth with them when they said that we did give them the okay to strike their gas infrastructure. No, we didn't. Let's go.
אנחנו ממשיכים לתקוף, גם באיראן וגם בלבנון.
From the very beginning, after Trump.
This man said Trump is full of it. He's not talking to anybody important. Let's go. Can you guys please hit the like? I'm not asking for a cash app, super chat, super sticker. Just a like will do for me tonight. Please and thank you.
Issued that statement. We had statements after statements from leaders and also from the state media that this is a bluff, that the Iranians didn't have any contact with the Americans direct.
There was a lot of inside trading yesterday, and I'm going to get into that as well. They believe Trump told this lie for the stock market. Let's go.
Or indirect over the last couple of days, contrary to what came in that tweet by President Trump. And that also they are not changing the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, no matter what happens. The understanding is that the Iranians are speaking to the local public with a very strong language, and also even to the outside world, because they don't trust those overtures from the United States, particularly from Donald Trump. They have been through very bitter experiences in June and also in February, on February 28th.
And this right here, they've been saying this forever. We don't trust Trump. We are not negotiating with him.
When the Americans and the Israelis waged a war twice against Iran in the middle of negotiations. So they think that this is a bluff, that this is a way for Donald Trump to appease the energy markets internationally, and also for him to buy time, because the Americans are still accumulating and gathering their power, including thousands of troops who are said to be on their way to.
And yes, there are troops on their way. This is what I'm saying. So if we're in negotiations and it's almost over, why are we sending troops? Why?
I think the question of talking with Americans or negotiation with Americans once again would be on the table, because we have a very bitter experience of talking with Americans. We negotiated with them last year in last June, and they attacked us in the middle of negotiations. And again this year, they tried to convince us that this time is different. They promised us that they don't have any intention to.
Did y'all hear that? This time they're trying to convince us this time is different. When we attacked, they were in the 6th round of negotiations. So Iran never seen this coming.
To attack us, and they wanted to resolve Iran's nuclear question peacefully and to find a negotiated solution, and we finally accepted. But again, after 3 rounds of negotiation, and after the American team in the negotiation, said itself that we made a big progress.
I agree with what you just said, Rock James. I agree. I definitely agree with what you said. Epic Epstein files greater than what Trump could handle. Yeah, I agree.
Still, they decided to attack us. So I don't think, talking with Americans anymore would be, on our agenda.
Mr. President,
Real quick, save us all. That's my question too. Why? Like, Iran is not going to negotiate, but why are we sending troops? I agree. Let's go.
Iran's foreign ministry says you're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
Well, they're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead.
I do believe Trump, he's talking to people. It's just not the right people.
Major points of agreement. I would say almost all points of agreement. Perhaps that hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them.
Remember, Sunday, I showed you guys that Witkoff, they were behind the scenes talking to them through WhatsApp.
They went, I would say, perfectly. I would say that if they carry through with that, it'll end that problem, that conflict. And I think it'll end it very, very substantially. We have very much in mind our partners in the Middle East. We've had great relationships with a lot of them, as you know. A lot of them were surprisingly hit. And I was surprised to see it, and so was everyone else. But we have, they're very much in mind in the discussion.
And I'm also going to show you guys who was in Trump's ear that got him to do this outside of Israel. I'm going to show you guys who was behind the scenes encouraging Trump to do this.
So the discussions took place yesterday. They went into yesterday evening. They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too.
We have breaking news right now. Donald Trump says that he is postponing any strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure or power plants for a period of 5 days due to productive conversations that the two sides have allegedly had to stop the war in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Iranian state media this morning says that the two sides have not had any conversations. Here's Donald Trump's Truth Social post saying that he is essentially backing down from his ultimatum to Iran. He previously said Iran has...
Please, guys, please. I got 179 in the building. Can you please hit the like for me, gang? Thank you so much. Trump wants out of this bad. He wants out of this. His ratings is down. This is insane.
48 hours to open up the Strait of Hormuz, and if it didn't, he would start striking the power plants, starting with the biggest one. He said the United States of America and Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. And as a result, he's postponing any strikes against the power plant for a 5-day period. Iranian state media, however, says that Trump is lying. There has been no direct contact with Trump, not even through...
And I'm going to tell you guys, I was literally watching all day just to see if I seen a glimpse of something. And I didn't, from Iran.
Intermediaries, Trump retreated after hearing that our targets would be all power plants in West Asia. Now we await Donald Trump's response, but at least right now, it looks like he's back down. Spread the word, follow for more.
I just spoke with President Trump, and he told me that Iran wants to make a deal badly. He said that the talks have been ongoing. I said, how much longer will this conflict go on? He said the talks, I said 5 days to halt or postpone strikes on the electrical infrastructure. It could happen sooner, he said, but I have put down 5 days. I asked him what his reaction is to Iranian state television.
And it's just crazy because a lot of people made money yesterday based off of the stock markets and insider trading. If this is a bluff and there are no negotiations, what the hell is he going to say? What is he going to say?
Saying that there are no talks. And he said he's not sure what they are referring to because the most recent talks happened, in fact, last night with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and their counterparts. When I asked about the Iranian TV saying that no talks have happened, he said it's hard to get any information there because of the U.S. is blowing up so much of their infrastructure. So again, he wasn't sure what Iran state TV was talking about because the most recent talks, he said, happened last night with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Again, the president just told me moments ago that the Iranians want to do a deal badly.
Let me ask the question for the ones in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that Trump is actually negotiating. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe not. If you don't believe it, put a 2 in the chat.
The president calling off these strikes, he just, as we came on the air, he said on Truth Social that based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive
Let me take a look. I believe he's talking to somebody. I just don't believe I believe Kushner and Witkoff, they're talking to people, but it's just not the right players, gang. I do. I really do. Because I showed you guys yesterday that they were behind the scenes trying to have some type of secret deal going on. So I believe that. Okay. A lot of 2s in the chat. All right, let's go.
Conversations, which will continue throughout the week. I have instructed the Pentagon to postpone any and all military...
For the ones that put the 2s in the chat, please try to stay in here until it's over because I do have a few things that may change your mind. Yeah. They are making money on this war. They are playing for a different team. Ooh, okay, let's go.
Strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. That comes as we're hearing more from Americans about what they think of the war. In our latest poll, 57% think the war in Iran is going badly for the United States. 66% say it's a war of choice. About a third say it's a war of necessity. Fewer than 1/3 believe the administration has clearly stated U.S. goals on the conflict. Meanwhile, the issue that's going to matter in the midterms and one that...
I have no idea what the goals of this war is. I really don't. Do I believe that it's a war of choice? Yes, I do.
Seems to be uniting most Americans right now is gas prices. If you look at this, 85% of Americans say gas prices are up where they live. 2/3 say they don't think they should have to pay more at the pump because of the conflict with Iran. The poll shows Democrats and independents strongly oppose military action by big numbers, 92% and 69% respectively. It could be another issue that drives those voters to the polls, and it is one, of course, the White House is monitoring closely.
So tomorrow morning, sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plants that cost.
Now, do I believe he would have done that? No, not at all. That would have been crazy. That would have just been stupid to do it.
Over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. It collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal.
You see how he's doing? Like, he always has to, like, they called, I didn't call. But they're saying they didn't talk to him at all.
And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff is no deal.
But if he obliterated everything, they have nothing, right?
You said you want to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched uranium? Are you going to
It's very easy. If we have
that's another story right there. He said it's very easy. When they first started talking about getting the uranium where it is underground, it is that would be a mission, and it would take weeks to months to get it. It's not very easy, gang. It's not.
Deal with them.
And then they had concerns that if they went where it's supposed to be, they had enough time to recover it and hide it somewhere else. Crazy.
Going down and we'll take it ourselves. They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too. We're going to get together today by probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing.
Diamond Gang, it's the countdown, 5 days. So we got 4 more days to go before he comes up with another excuse.
Our little hearts out.
And who's in control of it? Will Iran still be able to control the flow?
Now he's trying to say he's going to help control the Straits of Hormuz. Like, step back, sir. Please.
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me. Maybe me.
You want the United States to be
Me and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah. Look, and there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Now, in all fairness, everybody's been killed from the regime.
Now, later on in this clip, you're going to hear him say that there is someone in charge, and this person is very nice, but he doesn't name this person.
Really starting off, there's automatically a regime change, but we're dealing with some people that I find to be very reasonable, very solid. The people within know who they are. They're very respected. And maybe one of them will be exactly what we're looking for. Look at Venezuela, how well that's working out.
Ahmed Val in Tehran, I'm just hearing that Iran's Fars news agency.
Now, this guy here, he pretty much is going to tell us who Trump may be speaking with, okay? May be speaking with. Please, gang, hit the like.
Says and reports this very moment that there is no direct communication between Iran and the United States. So as per Donald Trump's message, there is some form of communication, Iran, U.S. speaking.
And this is why I believe he may be talking to someone. So just listen for the ones that put the twos in the chat. Listen to this.
In some fashion, he didn't say how, but he did seem to say it was progressing positively. We're now learning from the Iranians, or at least from Fars, that the communication, if it is happening, is not direct.
It makes perfect sense, Cyril, at the moment, even though in his tweet, President Trump talked about some kind of talks with the Iranians over the last couple of days. It's very much understandable that those talks were not direct. He did not make it specific whether they were direct or indirect, but it makes sense that they are still indirect. If there are mediators, Egyptians, Omanis.
Y'all hear that? So he's not talking directly to who he needs to, but he's talking indirectly through people. I believe that.
And Turks, as we have heard, probably they are just communicating between the two sides indirectly, which is not contradictory to what Fars news agency has said. It's too early, I think, for the two sides to sit face to face around the same negotiation.
Ben, I believe that. I definitely believe that. We are probably talking through an intermediary like quarter, but maybe
Negotiation table. They have been until now. They are fighting each other tooth and nail, and escalation was the order of the day. So I think it's too early for them to sit together, which makes perfect sense. What the Fars news agency says. Again, this is also related to what you told me before, that the Iranian TV said that America has backed down, Donald Trump backed down. Makes sense that the Iranian TV and the Iranian media talk to their public here for domestic consumption. Very strong words about America has given in, has surrendered, and so on. It's something very usual. The rhetoric that is propagated on the national TV here for domestic consumption is always talking about Iran.
Let me stop this and let me read this comment. I'm with you on this one. You said you can't believe that. I seriously can't believe this is the same America that I used to know while growing up. End of an era. You got to be my age. You got to be my age. All right, let's go.
The top of all of this, having the upper hand, the Americans are surrendering and so on. But when it comes to officials, I'm sure that there will be a slightly different type of expression regarding what happened, regarding the discussions, because they are hopeful, I'm sure, that something positive might come out from these statements by Donald Trump.
Okay, so he seems to believe that he's talking to someone. It's just not the direct circle gang.
We can bring senior Iranian foreign ministry officials have said, and I'm quoting here, we received points from the U.S. through mediators, and they are.
This is another clip that I received that I got for you guys. Listen up closely, because again, this makes me believe that he is talking to people.
Being reviewed. That's new, and something Iranian officials have not admitted to in this nearly month-long war. Now, let's be clear. These are not talks, not yet. But what these are messages being passed through intermediaries. And
somebody just said that. Yep, you just said that.
There are no formal negotiations underway. There's a lot happening around the edges. President Trump has spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Turkey's foreign minister has been working the phones across Iran, US, Europe, the Gulf, probing for a ceasefire window. And we've also learned Pakistan's top military and government leaders have spoken to both Tehran.
Somebody just said something about Pakistan. I seen that comment. Dang. All right, let's go.
And Washington. There are even indications mediators are trying to convene a meeting in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, potentially involving senior Iranian officials and President Trump's envoys, maybe as soon as this week. Now, Iran, for its part, is still setting conditions. It has signaled discomfort with previous U.S. negotiators and is being selective about who it engages with.
Are y'all listening? So they trying to get it together. I don't like Trump at all. Everybody that comes to my channel knows this, but I'm hoping and praying this is true, so this could just be over.
At the same time, it continues to tie any movement on the vital Strait of Hormuz shipping route and de-escalation to much broader demands. From the White House, some officials are already looking beyond talks, even discussing which figures inside Iran's system who could be workable counterparts. Now, all of this is happening while the war still continues and as U.S. military assets are still moving into the region. The question now is whether any of this leads to actual meaningful talks or simply sets the stage for the next phase of this conflict.
Boom. So it could go either this could stage talks or it could amp the war up even more. So I'm just hoping it goes the way we all want it to go. Let's go. Bibi, I said that. Bibi is the problem. He said he doesn't want to pull out. I said that, Ben, in the beginning. He is. Israel's the problem, y'all. I'm just saying. They're the ones who escalated this war.
There is nothing on Iran's side which suggests that they have come towards any sort of compromise or even that they recognize talks took place. So there are a lot of theories doing the rounds now. One is that Trump is actually trying to sort of unilaterally declare peace to drive the price of oil back down, to allow him a little bit of thinking time with calmer markets, after which he then chooses to go back and bomb the hell out of Iran anyway.
Now, listen, I hope that doesn't happen, but we're getting ready to get into the stock market and what had taken place when he made the announcement and when he pulled and said the 5 days. People made big money. Insider trading. Let's go.
It's a bit like sort of hiding in a cupboard before saying boo. The other thing that you're alluding to is he's got scared. He suddenly realized that he doesn't hold the cards, that they do control the straits, that they are serious when they say they could literally hit every Gulf state salination plant, which makes the Gulf states so angry with America that that whole relationship is lost and that drinking water is lost and that the oil prices remain high and that American consumers are absolutely up the creek. And he's gone, we can't let this go on.
It's like you're on this endless helter-skelter ride where you're kind of, things go up really fast. And then
I believe that too. I think he's coming to his senses and like, we got to get up out of this.
they come down really fast as well. You know, it looks like Donald Trump is trying to massage the oil price because he felt it was going too high and obviously worried about US consumers at home. So oil prices have plunged since Donald Trump said that. The FTSE 100 has gone back up into green. The oil price is down 10% to around $100 a barrel, having been
Remember, it was almost 200 a barrel at one point. Let's go.
$14 earlier on in the day. So Donald Trump knows what he's doing. I mean, the cynic in me thinks, I wonder how many of his mates knew that this announcement was coming.
Just have a look at this.
Listen, they were setting it up. They were setting it up. This was before everything went down. So they're like, yeah, they were on to what was going on as far as this insider trading. Let's go.
Insider trading.
An insider trading of people who knew that the oil price was about to drop and they'll buy now before the problem comes back. And this is so much smoke and mirrors. I mean, forget.
Diamond Gang, please hit the like. I'm trying to get up to 100 likes. I got 250 in the room. If half of y'all hit the like, I'll be past that. Please and thank you.
Truth being the first casualty in a war. This is all about stock market manipulation, it feels like, about the manipulation of the crude oil price. And you just wonder whether people are profiteering on this. I hope everything is as face value as Donald Trump says it is, that there have been these really constructive talks, that we are on the edge of peace, that the Strait of Hormuz will reopen, and we are all going to live happily ever after. But somehow I'm cynical.
So there's an interesting thing going on right now.
Y'all ready? Let's go. Hit the like. We getting ready to get into the insider trading. People got paid. And it's all, people might get in trouble too.
Right now, the Iranian regime is calling Donald Trump out as a liar. You see, earlier today, coincidentally, right before the markets opened, Donald Trump made this post saying that he's pleased to report that the United States of America and Iran have had very good and productive conversations over the past couple days. And Trump said that he was calling off his threat that he would strike Iranian nuclear sites for the next 5 days. Again, coincidentally, at the close of markets on Friday.
Y'all hear that? At the close of market on Friday. They set this up so smooth.
Well, soon after that, Iranian media made this report saying that the Iranian regime made no contact with President Donald Trump, not even through an intermediary, and claimed that Trump backed down after warnings that Iran would target power plants. And so what happened next? Well, Axios then reported that an Israeli official told them that U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were negotiating with the Speaker of the Iranian parliament. But there was just one problem with that claim. The Speaker of the Iranian parliament instantly came out and said that was not true.
Yeah, they was like, no, we did not talk to him.
He wrote on social media, Iranian people demand complete and remorseful punishment of the aggressors. All Iranian officials stand firmly behind their supreme leader and people until this goal is achieved. No negotiations have been held with the U.S., and fake news is used to manipulate the financial and oil markets and escape the quagmire in which the U.S. and Israel are trapped. And then following that, this Bloomberg report dropped, which said that Trump made this decision to postpone his ultimatum in part to calm the market.
Boom. He said 5 days. Peep this, y'all. Pay attention.
So unfortunately, we are now in a place in the United States to try to figure out who's telling the truth. Is it Donald Trump, the president of the United States, or is it the Iranian regime? And the evidence right now seems to suggest that it's the Iranian regime. We're going to keep following it all, so make sure you're following our account, spread the word. Oh, and check out Scott McFarlane's new YouTube channel. He just joined the Midas Touch Network.
We have major Iran war news right now. Massive evidence of market manipulation has been exposed.
Pay attention because it's getting ready. I'm going to break it down to y'all. Please hit the like. We got 38 likes. I'm trying to get to 100 likes. Please, please, please hit the like. I'm not asking for a cash app, a super chat, nor a super sticker. A like is free.
By the Financial Times this evening, as new reports suggest that traders bet millions, hundreds of millions of dollars ahead of Donald Trump's, just 15 minutes before Donald Trump's post this morning touting.
Did y'all hear that? 15 minutes before Donald Trump post about productive talks.
Productive talks with Iran. Traders in total $580 million in oil bets. And then Trump claimed
$580 million in oil bets.
Productive talks, and instantly the oil market tumbled, and they likely made a hell of a lot of money because of it. Meanwhile, U.S. intelligence is admitting tonight, according to the Washington Post, that the United States cannot topple the regime, no matter how much it may want to in Iran. All while CBS has confirmed that Iran has mined the Strait of Hormuz with at least a dozen naval mines. And here's even the kicker. You know how Trump gave a 5-day reprieve for Iran before bombing its power plants? Well, we're learning that the Marines that Trump is sending to possibly do a ground operation, well, they'll be there in 5 days.
Did y'all hear that? They're on their way there. The Marines is on their way there. But he's claimed that we're talking and it's just almost over. It doesn't look like it.
After the market closes. Spread the word. Follow for more.
New reports show that just 5 minutes before Donald Trump made his announcement about Iran today, massive trades hit the stock market. I don't think this is a coincidence. These large-scale trades hit the market at 6:59 a.m., precisely 5 minutes before Trump's 7:04 a.m. post on Truth Social.
If this isn't proof of insider trading, I don't know what is. I don't know what is.
That announcement, the S&P 500 surged 240 points within 6 minutes, adding an estimated $2 trillion in market capitalization. In one move, $1.5 billion in S&P 500 futures was bought, while $192 million in oil futures was sold. These orders were 4 to 6 times larger than anything else at the time. Keep in mind, there was no public information this announcement was coming.
No public information, Diamond Gang. This is crazy.
No leaks, no press, nothing. The only people who knew were in the room with Trump when the decision was made.
So guess what? They called their boys up and said, go put $1 million on this, go do this, go do that, sell this, sell that. Insider trading.
That means somebody in the room picked up a phone and within minutes made more money than most Americans will ever earn in 1,000 lifetimes in a single trade.
Who y'all think that was? Huh? Y'all think it was Pete? Who was it?
They're profiting off of insider knowledge about a war that's cost us $4 a gallon gas and $16 billion in tax dollars. American citizens are funding this war, and the politicians are the ones who are profiting from it. It's not the first time this has happened either. There's been massive suspicious trades placed right before almost every...
No, it isn't a joke. It's sad, and it's horrible. But sometimes you got to smile keep from crying. This is a mess. The state of our country right now is a mess.
Single major announcement the Trump administration has made.
It looks like, according to the Financial Times, that over $580 million worth of oil contracts, 6,200 contracts in total, changed hands between 6:49 a.m. and 6:50 a.m. yesterday. Okay. 15 minutes or so before Donald Trump announced on social media that he might be trying to strike a deal with Iran. So who in the middle of the morning decided they were going to transact 6,200 contracts?
But here's the thing. Automatically, we know whoever it is, they were up under Trump. So how much trouble could this person really be in?
Related to oil at a total contract price notional value of $580 million, 15 minutes before Trump announces he's made or about to make a deal. And if that's not suspicious enough for you, CNBC reports that in the S&P futures, which has to do with the stock market, there was also an aberrational run-up almost in that exact same time period. So somebody bet on the stock market and on the oil market, stock market to go up, oil market to go down 10 minutes before Donald Trump picked up the phone and called into CNBC and had an interview.
Thanks for hitting the like, Diamond Gang. Thank you. Thank you.
And posted on social media at 7:05.
Listen, Trump tells CNBC, we are very intent on making a deal with Iran at 7:05
a.m. that we might be striking a deal. Here's Donald Trump phoning into CNBC at or about the time that this person or people, a team perhaps, is cooking the books on the market.
This is crazy. Literally cooking the books on the market.
And front-running information. In other words, they know the information, but we don't, and they're trading on it.
And Pete, I think
now we're going to go into a little bit of what Trump had to say yesterday. And I told you guys, I'm going to show you who was behind the scenes in Trump's ear, pumping him up for this war.
You were the first one to speak up, and you said, let's do it.
He literally put Schiff on Hegseth yesterday. He put the blame on Hegseth.
Because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. So we are now having really good discussions. They started last night, a little bit, the night before that. And I think they're very good. They want peace. They've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon, et cetera, et cetera.
That part, he pardons everyone. That's why I said, who's really going to be in trouble?
But we'll see. You have to get it done. But I would say there's a very good chance. And it began when I said that we were planning tomorrow on shooting down some of their power plants, and we're going to hold that up. Hopefully we won't have to do it. And hopefully we can make a deal that's good for all of us, including the Middle Eastern allies that have been very good to us, including Israel, that's been a great partner.
Israel is not a great partner. They don't want to stop. They don't want to stop. They don't want this deal to go on. And they said they will continue to strike Iran.
This fight, they've really been a good partner in the fight. They fought hard. But we'll see what happens. I think there's a very good chance we're going to end up in a deal. And so we're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us. And I would say at the end of this period, I think it could very well end up being a very good deal for everybody, as good as if we went all the way and just literally annihilated the place.
Come on, man. So, I hope there's a deal. Diamond Gang, I'm at 48 likes. I need y'all to please, can y'all get me up to just at least 100 likes? Just 100.
Which, if we don't have to do that, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing. In addition,
we also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement.
This guy, he was one of the ones pumping Trump up. He is actually upset that we may be coming close to a deal. He don't want a ceasefire.
We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate.
And wait till y'all hear Pete Hegseth's background. It's not good. It is not good, y'all. It is not good.
Demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country.
Those are the words of a potential war criminal right there. And that is not the advice and counsel and direction that any Secretary of Defense should be providing our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. It puts them actually in greater danger. The Secretary of Defense is a disgraced major that was kicked out of the DC National Guard. He has no qualifications whatsoever to be the Secretary of Defense other than...
I'm going to run that back. I told y'all, his background is horrible. He was kicked out of the National Guards. Let's go.
Some of their power plants, and we're going to hold that up.
Run that back.
Hopefully we won't have to do it. And hopefully we can make a deal that's good for all of us, including the Middle Eastern allies that have been very good to us, including Israel, that's been a great partner in this fight. They've really been a good partner in the fight. They fought hard. But we'll see what happens. I think there's a very good chance we're going to end up in a deal. And so we're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us. And I would say at the end of this period, I think it could very well end up being a very good deal for everybody, as good as if we went all the way and just literally annihilated the place, which if we don't have to do that, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing. In addition,
let's go.
We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country.
Those are the words of a potential war criminal right there. And that is not the advice and counsel and direction that any Secretary of Defense should be providing our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. It puts them actually in greater danger. The Secretary of Defense is a disgraced major that was kicked out of the DC National Guard. He is
kicked out of the DC National Guard. Hit the like, Diamond Gang.
No qualifications whatsoever to be the Secretary of Defense other than his extreme loyalty to the president. Again, those are the words of a potential war criminal.
And then unfortunately, I called Pete, I called General Kane, I called a lot of our great people.
Here you go. Trump puts the blame on them.
Well, we have great people, and I said, let's talk. We got a problem in the Middle East. We have a country known as Iran that for 47 years has been just a purveyor of terror, and they're very close to having a nuclear weapon. We can keep going and get that 50,000 up to 55 and 60 is no end, or we can take a stop and make a little journey into the Middle East and eliminate a big problem. And Pete, I think you were the first one to speak up. And
y'all hear that? Pete, you was the first one to speak up. He put it in his head. He put it in his head. He said this early on.
He said, let's do it, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. So we are now having really good discussions. They started last night, a little bit, the night before that.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You're spot on. Never in history has a modern military, Iran had a modern military, a modern Navy, a modern Air Force, modern air defense.
Now listen to him, the guy that got kicked out, the National Guard.
Defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated from day one with overwhelming fire.
This is like a game to them. It's like they're playing a game.
Our power. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well.
Sure.
Now this guy here, he was another one in Trump's ear behind the scenes. Listen up. Please, y'all, hit the like, hit the like. I'm at 54. I'm trying to get to 100 before I close out tonight. Please and thank you.
I urged the president to launch this attack. As you noted, I was with him
pretty much the entire day on Friday before the attack launched on Saturday. And so we were on Air Force One. We were flying down to Texas to Corpus Christi at a big event planned in Corpus Christi. So I was on the plane with him. And then he asked me to hop in the Beast, the presidential limo, and it was just the two of us one-on-one. And pretty much the whole time he was asking me what I thought we should do on Iran.
This is what I'm saying.
And I said, look, I think we should not miss this moment. I think the regime.
What is the moment? Miss what moment? Israel was also in his ear.
Is weaker than it ever has been. And we have an.
And I'm going to show you guys how Israel have lied in the past to get others to join them.
Opportunity. If we can collapse this regime, America will be much, much safer. There are very few things on planet Earth that would do more to improve American national security as much as seeing this regime collapse. And he asked me in the Beast, he said, well, look, do you think we should negotiate further? And I said,
remember, they was in round 6 of negotiations when this happened.
No. I said, I don't believe they're negotiating in good faith. They are liars.
The Israeli government is trying to drag the UK into its illegal war with Iran.
Now, listen, this is Israel. This is how they start, and this is how they lie, and this is how they get people to join them. Hit the like, Diamond Gang.
Improve American national security as much as seeing this regime collapse. And he asked me in the Beast, he said, well, look, do you think we should negotiate further? And I said, no. I said, I don't believe they're negotiating in good faith. They are liars.
The Israeli government is trying to drag the UK into its illegal war with Iran.
They have now the capacity to reach deep into Europe.
According to this former US counterterrorism director, Israeli officials fabricated evidence to drag the US into the war with Iraq and are now...
Did y'all hear that? And I've been saying this since I started this live, and I've said it on Sunday. Israel amped this war up.
Doing the same with Iran.
The Israeli lobby, led by Benjamin Netanyahu at the time, was over here in America heavily campaigning for us to go after Saddam Hussein, saying that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction.
Even current UK intelligence does not support Israel's claims.
There is no specific assessment that the...
So what he's doing now is he's lying to them, trying to get them involved, just like he probably lied to Trump.
Iranians are targeting the UK, or even could if they wanted to.
It's the same playbook that was used in the build-up to the Iraq War, where we were told Iraq could hit Europe in 45 minutes. No such weapons or threat existed. These current claims all started after an apparent Iranian missile was launched towards the British base on the island of Diego Garcia at a range of 2,300 miles from Iran. However, Iran never had that capability and denies the attack.
But we have intentionally limited ourselves to below 2,000 kilometers of range because we don't want to be felt as a threat by anybody else in the world. We have not started any...
Benjamin is something else, y'all. Like I said, he said that they're going to continue attacks on Iran.
Any plan to increase the range of our missiles more than what it is right now.
The evidence doesn't show that Iran is planning an attack on London. What it does show is that Israel is trying to drag London into an aggressive war of choice.
There's a sort of phrase that Trump used with Zelensky that you can almost play back to Trump now. And that
now we're about to get into a few clips showing how Trump got caught up in all of this.
It is Donald Trump, you've got no cards. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively blocked. If Donald Trump wants to unblock it, it's not going to take a few ships from Denmark or the UK or France. It's going to take ground troops that are going to be needed.
Exactly. To open up the Strait of Hormuz, we will definitely need ground troops. And this is something that can take weeks or months.
To go there in their thousands. What a trap is.
And it's very dangerous.
Being set for Donald Trump, and he's got no other way out of this now. He either surrenders and allows the Strait of Hormuz to remain shut, in which case this is an epic fail and the regime is in place, or you put thousands of Marines on the ground, you put swift boats.
Now, Diamond Gang, I got this before the announcement. I just told y'all Marines are on their way over there. So get ready, y'all. Get ready. They're on their way.
Into the Strait of Hormuz, and it becomes a shooting fight. And that is something that Donald Trump has wanted to avoid. And I thought there was kind of one other bit about, is Donald Trump mad, deluded? He said in this rambling news conference about that.
This is what's coming next if there are truly no peace talks. Do y'all hear me? This is what's coming. The Marines are on their way.
He'd spoken to the previous presidents, and one of them said to me, "Oh yeah, we wish we
Let's hear it. I spoke to one of the former presidents who I actually like. Actually speak to some. I do like some people. Be shocking. And he said, "I wish I did what you did."
Trump is the 47th president. Joe Biden is the 46th. He denies having any part and having had any conversation. Barack Obama was the 44th. He also denies having any conversation.
Not a big fan of war.
No, not a big fan of war. And says,
not a big fan of Trump.
Yeah. And then you've got the 43rd president, George W. Bush, and he says he's had no conversation. And Bill Clinton as well also denied it.
Do we think it might be Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah.
Trump was the 45th president of the United States, who was.
Well,
Trump.
I asked myself
in the mirror.
I wish you'd done it.
They keep saying Trump asked himself.
I suppose he could have been wished he'd done it in the past, but maybe this is just a sort of net result or the natural end point of living in fantasy land, which he does so often about so many things. That 99% of the time, because of the kind of polarization of American politics, and because a good proportion of the American electorate will, or certainly the bag of base anyway, will believe whatever confected nonsense he may well believe to exist. But there are just some times, right, where confection and imagination doesn't win the
I don't understand why he tells these stories that's easily debunked.
day. And the Straits of Hormuz, to go back to your point, John, is either open or it's not. The oil price is either rising or it's not. He has set a trap against himself because the natural logic of this war.
And I do believe that. And when people are trapped and they feel trapped, they make stupid decisions.
Now, it seems to me, either regime change or bust. They have shown to the entire world that when push comes to shove, even though, yes, their military capabilities have been severely, severely degraded, even though, yes, thousands and thousands and thousands of rockets have poured down upon them, they've survived it. And when push comes to shove, they can unleash economic warfare on the world.
And that is their leverage. That is what they have. Economic warfare. So
Donald Trump has lost control on his war with Iran. And let me tell you why. Because it starts with this.
As I announced earlier, based on preliminary conversations between the United States and Iran over.
And this is what it's coming down to. This is out of control. He has no exit strategy. He's making plays. He's not being truthful. We're all over the place. Up front, he's telling you one thing, but behind the scenes, they're sending Marines.
The past 2 days, I've directed the Department of War to temporarily postpone planned strikes against major energy and electricity targets in Iran.
Today was the day. He vowed to obliterate Iranian power plants after his 48-hour ultimatum was up. It was a threat. Open the world's most important oil route, the Strait of Hormuz, or American bombs would be falling on those Iranian power plants. And now, though, he says that they actually have 5 days or they will keep bombing our little hearts out.
So we're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us. And
the reason why I don't believe he'll do that, because that's just going to make the problem bigger. It's going to make it worse.
I would say at the end of this period, I think it could very well end up being a very good deal.
And so you're probably wondering what actually happened. Trump says they are talking about a deal with Iran, but that's actually news to about everyone involved in this war, because Iran says there are no talks, either direct or indirect, that is taking place. And Trump seems to be in fear. And here's another reason that shows Trump has no concrete plan. His objectives have changed. At first,
big time, his objectives have changed. Hit the like, please, and thank you. Let's go.
It was for Iranians to rise up and take control of their government. That obviously hasn't happened. And now it seems it is about regime change.
And there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Now, in all fairness, everybody's been killed from the regime. There's automatically a regime change. But we're dealing with some people that I find to be very reasonable.
Here's the thing. These people that he's talking to, they're not leaders. Or they may not even be up to be leaders.
Very solid. The people within know who they are. They're very respected. And maybe one of them will be exactly what we're looking for. Look at Venezuela.
There we go again. Exactly what we're looking for. And they keep trying to tell this man they're up for negotiations, but he cannot run it. He's not going to tell them what to do and who to pick.
Well, how well that's working out.
But we know that's factually not true. Look, this is foreign policy in real time. No plan, no consistency, no strategy. And the world's oil trade and the global economy all hangs in the balance. So what?
That part, that's why I know he's not going to start bombing his little heart out.
What did we get? 48 hours of uncertainty, and it turns out it didn't mean a thing.
Secretary Hegseth just said that it takes money to kill.
Now we're going to talk about this $200 billion, because here's the thing. That's still not off the table. They still want it. They still want it.
Bad guys while asking for $200 billion more dollars to fund the Iran war.
$200 billion. I think that number could move, obviously.
No declaration of war, no clear authorization from Congress. So who actually decided we're spending $200 billion? Hey, I'm Cody Harnish, UCMJ attorney. I'm a former JAG, prior CAS scout, and now I only practice military law. Let's strip this down to the Constitution. Congress, not the president, has the power to declare war. That wasn't a suggestion.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, Congress ain't they're going to, I'm telling you, give them a hard time. They're not going to fund $200 billion. They're not going to do it.
That was intentional. The founders didn't trust one person with the power to drag the country into war because they had just fought a king who did exactly that. So they split up the powers. Congress decides if we go to war, president runs the military after that decision is made. Fast forward to today. We're talking about a $200 billion war funding request for a conflict that Congress has never formally declared or hasn't even given any authorization for.
That part, and that's why they're not going to give it to him.
So how does this happen? Two ways. First, Congress passes broad, vague authorizations that get stretched way beyond the original intent anyone voted for. Or two, presidents increasingly rely on Article 2 powers, claiming that they can use force for national interest or self-defense without Congress. And here's the real problem. Congress rarely stops it, because stopping a war means taking political ownership.
This is right here. Remember, I was like, Congress is not doing anything. They're not doing anything. If they were to do anything, they have to then step in and take ownership of this war. And they don't want to do that. So I get it now. I get it.
Ownership, voting, cutting funding, forcing withdrawal. So here's where we are now. It's increasingly easy to start military operations. It's incredibly hard to stop them. And now we're looking at $200 billion more without the one thing the Constitution actually requires first. Congress deciding we go to war. Like
here in Dubai, where people.
So again, I get it. That is why Congress didn't do too much, because they don't want, the responsibility.
Are very surprised by the latest announcement from President Trump, mostly because of this change in tone. Here's what I mean.
Now listen up, gang, because this guy as well convinced me that there is something going on. He may not be lying.
By that. So he had issued this 48-hour ultimatum for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. If not, he was going to target their energy infrastructure. Iran was threatening to strike critical infrastructure across the Gulf, like energy and water facilities, if the U.S. followed through on strikes. So Donald Trump had been escalating this rhetoric, but at the same time, he'd also been signaling that he was looking for
an off-ramp. And so today, when that ultimatum was supposed to expire, when that deadline was supposed to end, Donald makes the announcement change in tone is what's remarkable more than anything.
Please,
especially because
and thank you. Can you please hit the like, hit the like, hit the like? We are almost near the end, maybe another 15 minutes. And then that's when I'll take the comments in the comment section.
Because Iran is saying not so fast. According to state media there, the Trump administration has had zero contact with it and says that the Donald Trump administration actually backed down because of Iran's threats of retaliation. So there remains a lot
what he
of
thought they were going to do, he thought they were going to bow down. And when they didn't, that's when Trump too as well extended it 5 days. When they said, okay, go ahead and we'll just strike. Gas would have been probably $20 a gallon.
tension here in the region and a lot of uncertainty.
Right now, first responders are at the scene of a direct impact in Tel Aviv.
This is what's still going on. This is still what's going on. They're still fighting. Israel's striking. Iran is striking. It's still going on.
You can see here part of an apartment building that was sheared off by this Iranian missile slamming into a residential area. According to first responders, at least 6 people were wounded at this location. The Israelis are still,
believe me, nothing is slowing down.
Taking a heavy amount of incoming Iranian fire as diplomatic talks have started, according to President Trump.
What I can say is that this is once again targeting our residential communities, the latest barrage of Iranian missiles. You can see here significant damage to what used to be somebody's home, different apartment buildings. And this is one scene out of many here in Tel Aviv that the Israel police are.
So you think they're going to stop because Trump says so? They're not. Let's go.
Currently dealing with. We arrived very early on as we received the reports to secure the scene. Our bomb disposal experts also needed to neutralize and collect these fragments. Obviously, the different types of pieces are going to be relayed over to our laboratories so we can determine exactly what was fired at our civilians.
Well, Iran striking Tel Aviv and other targets across Israel, raising new questions now about the country's Iron Dome air defense system, once thought to be impenetrable. Iran launching a barrage of missiles in the region.
Iran is not playing. They're not going to stop.
With one striking a residential neighborhood near Tel Aviv today. In new video, you can actually hear emergency sirens blaring and people running for cover just before a large blast goes off in the distance.
Look at this.
Well, Israeli police saying that a number of victims were treated on the scene, and fortunately, no one was hospitalized. Now, Israel is expanding its operations in Lebanon. Israeli defense minister saying in order to eliminate Hezbollah, the military will destroy homes in southern Lebanon.
Y'all see that? Y'all see the back and forth? It's not going to stop. So this is what I want to know. How are we going to pull out? How? Because Israel said they're still going to keep it up.
Just as it did in the war-torn Gaza Strip. And just as that conflict escalates, President Trump says the U.S. is close to making a deal to end the war, but there's one major problem. Iran says no such talks have even taken place. Let's bring in our foreign correspondent, Tom Sufi-Burge in Tel Aviv. So, Tom, tell us about this conversation. You had the senior member of the Israeli military. Do you know if Trump is really negotiating with Iran right now?
Well, the Iranians are still denying it, Kira, but President Trump is pretty adamant these talks are happening. And this senior Israeli military official is also convinced that these talks are happening. And what we got, I think, from this Israeli official is a sense of concern. The Israelis are clearly concerned, according to this official, that there could be a negotiation and Iran.
Israel is scared because they don't want to stop. And I'm going to show you guys that the Marines are on their way.
Not make sufficient enough concessions. The Israeli lines that they're pushing for, even though they wouldn't be in the negotiation between Iran and the Americans, is that Iran gives up all its remaining enriched uranium and reins in its proxies right across this region. One key detail.
So did y'all hear that? If there are negotiations, Israel will not be included. They will not.
We did learn, it's been previously reported by Axios, but this senior Israeli military official confirming to us that Iran's Speaker of the Parliament, a man by the name of Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, he is the point of contact, which the name which President Trump wouldn't give up in front of the cameras yesterday. Although I think we should point out that we haven't had confirmation on the US side of that. But in the words of this Israeli senior military official, he said Ghalibaf is not Mother Teresa. He's an extremist.
So
He also, I think, gave.
So the guy that Trump is talking to is an extremist. So good luck with that. It don't sound good.
There's some quite interesting details about the timeline. I mean, in the opinion of this senior Israeli military official, a 5-day window is not long enough to get the Iranians to make significant concessions and end what is a very, very long-term conflict.
I only need 30 more likes, 30 more likes. We about to get into this gift that Iran supposedly gave Trump.
Dispute, etc., between the US and Israel on one hand and Iran on the other. So I think a lot of caution, but concern from the Israelis that this negotiation could play out, and President Trump, in the words of this Israeli military official, could just say, right, the war's over, we're all going home, and the Israelis are worried that they won't be happy with the end result.
Did y'all hear that? Israel will be worried. They're worried because they will not be happy with the end result. I told y'all, Israel is something else, and they played a big part, and they amped this up. They struck without us knowing, without the okay from the U.S. They are something else. I need y'all to please hit the like. I just need, 26 more likes. 26 more likes. Get me there. I'm not asking for a cash app, super chat, super sticker. Just a like. It's free, y'all. Please.
Diplomacy with Iran may be inching forward, but very cautiously. A senior Iranian foreign ministry official tells CBS News exclusively that they've received points from the U.S. through mediators and that those are now under review. To be clear, talks have...
Y'all hear that? So something's going on. I think we'll have a clearer picture maybe tomorrow, but they are talking.
Not started, but there appears to be an active discussion about possibly having talks. Now, there are some reports, not yet confirmed by CBS, that Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is either already in Pakistan or on his way there, and he'll possibly be joined with Vice President Vance. And
y'all hear that? Vance been hiding. He's been very quiet, trying to detach himself from this. I'm surprised.
They're hoping to actually...
Yeah, y'all hit the like. I see it. Thank you.
Have negotiations, but here's the reality here in the region. Deep skepticism. Iran's demands are steep. They want billions in reparations and to effectively turn...
Did y'all hear that? They want reparations. I'm going to show you also what else they're asking for. It's in this clip. It's in here. So hold tight.
The Strait of Hormuz into its own private toll booth. That's something Gulf countries like the Emirates, where I am, are very unlikely to accept. And it's hard to see how that would be framed as a win for President Trump and the United States.
Let me go back a little bit. This is their demands, Iran's demands. Let me take it back a little bit.
He's either already in Pakistan or on his way there, and he'll possibly be joined with Vice President Vance, and they're hoping to actually have negotiations. But here's the reality here in the region. Deep skepticism. Iran's demands are steep. They want billions in...
They want billions in reparations. This is Iran.
Reparations, and to effectively turn the Strait of Hormuz into its...
They want a toll booth at the Strait of Hormuz.
Own private toll booth. That's something Gulf countries like the Emirates, where I am, are very unlikely to accept. And it's hard to see how that would be framed as a win for President Trump and the United States.
We have some major Iran news right now. Donald Trump says that Iran gave Trump and the United States a very large present worth a, quote, tremendous amount of money having to do with oil and gas.
Y'all hear that? A present. Worth a lot of money. Hit the like, please. I need 20 more likes, 20 more likes. Please, Diamond Gang.
And because we received this present, which he won't elaborate what the present is, whether he's personally getting any money or what this present means, but because we received this large, tremendous present, Trump knows that we are now dealing with the right people in Iran. Now, in the same vein,
so he said because they gave him this present worth all this money, that he's dealing with the right people. Okay.
And he also said that all of the leaders in Iran have been killed and are dead, so it's hard to figure out who to talk to these days. But ultimately, what got him, I guess, over the edge into talking to Iran more was a present, this prize that Trump received from Iran. It's unclear whether Trump is personally receiving it or if the United States government is receiving it in any way. I think the American people, and especially Congress, should know what this tremendous present that is worth a lot of money is. Spread the word, follow for more.
Unbelievable. I need y'all to please and thank you. I need 15 more likes to get to 100 likes. Please and thank you.
Unbelievable news right now that Trump said to reporters, so I hope you're sitting down and not drinking anything because you might spit it out. He told reporters that Iran gave the United States a present worth a tremendous amount of money related to the Strait of Hormuz and matters of oil and gas. He said, quote, they did something yesterday that was amazing.
Nah, what if it's part of, he said that he wanted to run it with, you know what I mean, whoever the new Ayatollah is. Maybe it might be that. Who knows? Hit the like. I need 11 more likes.
They gave us a present that arrived today. It's a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it is very significant. He goes on to say they gave it to us and they said they were going to give it. That meant one thing to me, that we're dealing with the right people. They're the only ones who could have done it. He was then asked if the U.S. will control the Strait of Hormuz, and he said,
this might be it, y'all. This may be it. I need 9 more likes, y'all, and that's it. That's all I want is 100 likes.
We'll control anything we want.
And whoa, he said we'll control anything we want. It might be part of the Strait of Hormuz. Who knows?
Then he says, I think we're going to end the war. Guys, this is truly unbelievable. Iran has come out today and said that they are not negotiating with the United States. They are not talking to Jared Kushner or Steve Witkoff. So in complete contrast of what Trump is saying, it seems there's a reality going on.
Bro,
and then some
Kamikaze, what's up, bro? What's up? Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
Make-believe world that Trump is living in at the moment. And we need to know what this prize is, what this tremendous gift is worth a ton of money, because if it's being given to the United States of America, we should know what it is, shouldn't we? Or is it going to Trump directly? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like, share.
Oh boy, y'all, we got to figure out what this gift is.
Spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave it.
Bronze Glow, what's up, sis? Hit the like. Hit the like. I need 7 more likes, y'all. Let's go.
As a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related.
Y'all hear that? Oil and gas related. It was part of the Hormuz, the Straits of Hormuz, y'all. You said lies, Scott. 7 more likes, y'all, please. All I need is 7 more. Come on, y'all, for your girl.
And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you know, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum, racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone.
We want
you said I
the closure of all
Let me
US.
stop this. I'm getting ready to show y'all what they are asking for, okay? To cease fire I need y'all to hit the like. All I need is 7 more, Diamond Gang. 7 more likes to get to 100 likes. Iran, they said they send a message to Trump for a ceasefire with the United States. This is what they're asking for. To lift all sanctions on Iran, shut down all U.S. bases in Gulf, $100 billion for damages to Iran, $2 million toll to pass the Strait of Hormuz. That's what they're asking for. $2 million, a $2 million toll to pass the Strait of Hormuz. I'm gonna run it through one more time, y'all. 5 more likes. Come on, y'all. Lift all sanctions on Iran. Shut down all U.S. bases in the Gulf. $100 billion for damages to Iran. They out their minds. $2 million for a toll to pass the Strait of Hormuz. Where the hell is my reparations? Huh?
Bases in the region before we reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We want $2 million for every US and allied ship which is going to cross the Strait of Hormuz, or else we're not going to let them through. And then the other one is we want $100 billion worth of reparations to be paid by Israel and by the United States.
And I think that what we're...
Let me take it back one more time. What? One more time, y'all. 4 more likes, y'all. Let's go.
One thing to me, we're dealing with the right people. Is that nuclear related? No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was...
Y'all some jive turkeys, man. I got almost 300 people in the building and I can't get 3 likes. Y'all doing me so bad.
Racked up, at a minimum, racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone.
We want the closure of all US bases in the region before we reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We want $2 million for every US and allied ship which is going to cross the Strait of Hormuz, or else we're not going to let them through. And then the other one is we want $100 billion worth of reparations to be paid by Israel and by the United States.
And I think that what we're seeing is...
Y'all think they're going to get it? Y'all think Trump going to give it to them? I don't think so. Let's go.
A situation where targetry never makes up for a lack of strategy.
Oh, thank you, Diamond Gang. I got to my 100 likes. For the last people to hit for the last 3, I thank you guys. Thank you so much. That's all I asked for. Let's go.
By that, I mean 15,000 targets have been hit. There have been significant military successes, but they are not matched by strategic outcomes.
It is actually stunning to hear former General Jim Mattis, a man who was Donald Trump's first Secretary of Defense, speak so bluntly and honestly about the war with Iran. Over the course of the 45-minute discussion, he explained how badly the Trump administration had misjudged the war, that never in history has air power alone changed a regime.
Did y'all hear that? Never has air power alone changed regime. It's like, so what? You took everything out. That's not going to change the regime. Let's go.
That the American-Israeli strategic objectives remain murky, that Trump's original stated goals of unconditional surrender and regime change were, quote, delusional. There is no clear winner, he says. And while there are no good options on the table, he also said the United States can't just walk away. All in all, it was a sobering take from a man who, before he was defense secretary, spent nearly half a century in the Marines and retired as a 4-star general with leadership roles in the first Gulf War and then the wars in both Afghanistan and Iraq.
So y'all heard what he said. We just can't walk away. It's not going to be just that easy.
Now, this war and its rudderless leadership is making it feel like the U.S. is toggling from one crisis to another on everything, everywhere, all at once. Gas prices are near $4. ICE agents are patrolling airports after violently patrolling the streets of Minneapolis, Chicago, and LA. 450 TSA agents have quit rather than wait for Congress to get its act together. Air travel seems scarier than ever. Tariffs are still up in the air. NATO is hanging on by a thread. China looks both more stable and stronger by the day. Climate change is taking its toll, from fires to floods. And AI is threatening everything, from the coffee barista to the coder.
This is what's going on. This is what's going on.
The world as we know it feels like it's breaking apart with no one left to hold it together.
Now, gang, I'm getting ready to show y'all that the Marines is on their way.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump is declaring victory in Iran again, saying that the war in Iran has been won again for like the 10th time. And now placing the blame on the media, he says. The media is the one that keeps it going, apparently. Those are comments made by the president in the past several hours over the war in Iran. Meanwhile, negotiations potentially are beginning soon in the Middle East. And according to Israeli media, it looks as though the United States may be seeking a 1-month ceasefire of sorts to hash out a 15.
So we're looking for a 1-month ceasefire, which would be great.
15-term negotiations sheet. It's unclear whether or not Iran is going to go for that. Honestly, probably not, based on past history. But all while Donald Trump is claiming victory, he did just approve the deployment of about 1,000 more troops, according to NBC News.
Bingo. Did y'all hear that? 1,000 more troops. Let's go.
From the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East, highly specialized division. If we're going to put boots on the ground, those are the folks we're going to send. So not sure why we're sending troops if the war was won. In any event, spread the word.
Y'all hear that? So it's like we can't even get our hopes up.
And follow along, stay updated on all the news you need to know about. More to come soon.
Breaking into the Don Lemon Show newsroom. Boots on the ground in Iran, possibly. Israeli reporter, journalist Barak Ravid is reporting that a U.S. official told him that the command element of the 82nd Airborne, directed by the Pentagon to deploy to the Middle East together with an infantry brigade consisting of several thousand troops. Again, this is according to Israel.
I told y'all in the beginning of this live, the Marines is on their way.
Journalist Barak Ravid. He's saying this is another significant troop reinforcement in the region ahead of a possible ground operation in Iran. Now, the Trump administration has been saying this is going to be over soon. He's saying that there are negotiations going on and they're positive and constructive, although Iran is denying that. So this is another development that is really indicating to the American people and the world that this is not over yet, maybe far from over. We get more details into the Don Lemon Show newsroom. We will let you know.
They put boots on the ground. Oh, boy.
But more troops headed towards the region for a possible ground operation in Iran.
Bingo. Now I'm going to start taking the comments in the chat. This is crazy. So, Diamond Gang, I brought y'all the updates. I don't know. You said, what will the Marines do once they arrive? That I have no idea. You said, I've been hearing that for 7 years. Time to act. No more time left. What a great way to crash the U.S. economy. The Marines are supposed to hit the island, although it was advised not to. I know, Essence, and I don't want this to happen. That's just it in a nutshell. I'm in denial. Okay, let's see. You said, remember when Obama gave Iran millions and millions of Americans' money to Iran? Okay, let's see. Let me take a couple more. Perception management. 700,000 sealed. I don't even know what that is. Indictments coming? Or did you mean, I don't know what you meant on by that. Israel is going to break the ceasefire. I don't think so. Israel is going to break the ceasefire. Oh, yeah, I believe that, though. That's what's going to start World War III. I believe that, bro. Israel, they don't want to stop. They don't want to stop. And they're saying that if we come to an agreement with Iran, they may not be satisfied with that agreement. So I don't know, y'all. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like. Keep hitting the like, y'all. Please subscribe to the channel. This is a safe space. All opinions will be respected. You just cannot be disrespectful. Please misspell cuss words. Please and thank you. And if you like it over here, please think about becoming a member. I want to start my members only lives real soon. So, wow, this is crazy, y'all. Wall Street media all going down. Yikes, yikes, yikes. All right, gang. I am a dag. I still got a couple people in the building. I am over an hour. I'm actually an hour and 35 minutes in. I'll take a couple more comments. You said go back and watch when Biden was running for president when he was elected. In one of his speeches, he said things are going to get very confusing soon. Yeah, it's getting very confusing. This is crazy what's going on. All by design. Hey, I believe that, Scott. Why does Trump think that the USA needs saving now that he's made it great again? I have no idea. But these are some good comments. There are too many things going on at the same time. Exactly. Send more ice. I don't know about that. You said gas is about to be almost $10 a gallon soon. Watch. I believe that. I said that the other day. Somebody told me, oh, it's just a little bit of gas. I said, okay, you saying that now, but when it start affecting you, you won't say that. All right, Diamond Gang. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Please, on the way out, hit the like. Oh, wait, let me read this. I think boots on the ground will be a lot of American lives lost. Yes, we don't fight these kind of fights well. Kevin, I agree. Dang. Those Marines, I'm getting sick just thinking about this, y'all. Those Marines are sitting ducks on that island. Those missile drones, everything. Their short-range stuff will demolish that island if they really wanted to. Dang, I am, bro. This is sad, y'all. What we gonna wake up to tomorrow? Dang. All right, Diamond Gang. I'm gonna get up out of here. Please keep your notifications on. It'll probably be another war update tomorrow. I cannot stop watching this. I'm addicted. I stopped watching the news once I stopped working for corporate. Back in 2017. No, it was longer than that, 2014, because it was too depressing. So for the first time in years, I'm now watching the news again. But all right, Diamond Gang, please hit the like on the way out. Shouts out to all my beautiful mods. I love y'all. I really do. And to my subscribers, and if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, y'all. Good night.
It's your under the creek. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Great, feeling good.
LA Flex, tell your husband I said thanks for his years of service, and thanks for telling us. He said don't be worried. We shouldn't be worried just yet.
Great, spilling tea, have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your line of degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea, sip with me. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, sipping and spilling this tea, sipping and spilling.